Well, first of all, Zainab, it's a cold and chilly Friday morning, and it's a quiet one for this part of the mostly busy and bustling city. But what is interesting is one of the famous non-official icons of this city. Those who understand and know this name very well, Sanford Fish and Chips, is the non-official probably business which is among the many that operate for 24 hours during the day, probably for as long as I have been an adult in this city. I cannot remember the day that we found this facility closed down at any hour of the particular day. But as at 7 p.m. this evening, things are going to change. A few minutes ago, they were just going through the paces of ensuring that their iron doors are able to close down as soon as possible. As 6:59 p.m. everyone should be in their vicinity. This is after President Uhuru Kenyatta said that there would be a curfew that would need all Kenyans, those who are not in the essential services, to be home between the hours of 7 p.m. and 5 a.m. in the morning. So many business facilities just like this one, those that had been operating 24-hour schedules, will now have to come down to the morning hours or during the day, when the government has ensured that Kenyans will be able to freely walk. We've seen other African countries like South Africa go into a full 21-day lockdown. That happened at 12 a.m. This particular morning. These are some of the measures the president is saying that Kenya does not need at this particular moment. But with 31 cases already and one person who has died from this COVID-19, then Kenya is urging people in this country to ensure that self-isolation and social distancing is practiced with the most determination as possible. So Nairobi is among the 5 counties. This is Nairobi, Mombasa, Kajiado, Kilifi, as well as another county that I have forgotten at the moment, that the Ministry of Health is looking at in consideration, just to see the numbers in terms of those who have been affected by the COVID-19. They are looking at specifically counties of Kilifi, where they say this could be one of the areas where people who are now testing positive could have interacted with the previous patient. So here in Nairobi, nothing much is happening, not so much in terms of the vehicular traffic, but Kenyans who are going about their business are going to work to do their businesses to ensure that within the next 10 or so hours they are home to be with their families, just to ensure that they are not in a position to interact with about 70,000 police officers who the National Police Service says will be on standby to ensure this is happening. Say hello to this young man. Habari yako? These are some of the vulnerable groups in the country that maybe the government needs to look into. These are the street families and the street children who have no particular vicinity they will be going into. I don't know how the government is going to talk about such persons who have no residential address. But for the moment, this is the 360 view of Moi Avenue, one of the many busy streets in Nairobi City. Usually on a Friday morning, it is a hustle and bustle with matatus going in and coming out, as Kenyans would ideally be coming into their work day, the last work day of the week. And usually in the evenings, many facilities of entertainment would be a bustle of activity. Now those facilities were asked kindly to shut down. This is following some of the regulations that the CS for Health was saying that some of the Kenyans, as much as they were asked cordially and kindly to stay home, they were still engaging themselves in exercises that would be difficult for this disease or this virus to be stopped. So probably, maybe, if I can just talk to this young man and ensure that the social distancing is kept at bay. He's run away. Probably he's not in a position to speak to us, but he's been very keen and haggling around us just to find out what we are doing. Habari yako? Simama tu hapa kidogo.
Moto wa kitanda.
Wewe kama mkazi wa Nairobi unajua kwamba kuna ugonjwa wa COVID-19 ama coronavirus?
Najua.
Na unafanya vipi kujichunga wewe kama raia usipate ugonjwa huu? Afanyaje kuhakikisha kwamba wewe ni msafi na haupati ugonjwa huu?
Maana mimi nakaanga mimi nikiwa msafi.
Na leo jioni serikali imesema kwamba inataka kila mtu awe ndani. Wewe unadhani utakuwa wapi saa moja ikifika?
Ama nirudishe nyumbani.
So those are some of the concerns of young people like him who live on the streets, and they are hoping that the government will look into their concerns as the curfew begins to be enforced in the country beginning 7 p.m. this evening. We will be on standby to find out how this is going on and how the police are just working to ensure that this becomes a success, even as Africa continues to struggle or to have more infections of this disease that has ravaged many parts of China and Europe as well. All right.